Assalamu alaikum. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I learned another verse in the Quran yesterday. Qala Rabbi inni a'udhu bika an as'aluka laysa. I don't know, I've forgotten it now. It's very difficult to remember some of these verses. When you remember new ones, you forget the old ones, and my memory's not as good as it was when I was younger. But we tend to forget God, and then God forgets us. And those who remember God will strive in the cause of God, and will never tire of worshipping God. And mashallah, I still do most of my own things really. I'm not boastful. I don't seek praise for what I do. All praise belongs to God. All praise be to God. To God belongs all praise. Falillah alhamdu rabbi samawati rabbil ardi rabbil alameen. To God belongs all praise in the earth, in the heavens, in the universe. I think that's what rabbil ardi rabbil ardi samawati rabbil alameen. So what do I do to seek praise? And you see people setting their positions, onto people, and try to ignore and deny the true qualities of a person, not be honest with them. Instead, you know yourself by knowing the enemy, and Satan's enemy is humans. Humans are to Satan. Humans are his enemies because they expose his conspicuous thoughts of being an independent God with God. So when God performed the test with the angels and told them to prostrate before Adam when he created man, Satan refused and rejected and rebelled, and but he thought he could dialogue with God with his linguistics. He said, "I'm better than he, for you created me from fire and him from earth, from mud or potter's clay, age-like clay." So it was a linguistics, but instead of leading to a partnership with God, which is what his intention was, they rejected and ignored, and instead he turned into a despicable jinn. Even though he claimed to be very intelligent, he became dumber than an animal, because the schemes of the disbelievers backfire upon them. So you should reverence God, and God will make everything easy for you. If you reverence God, God will create an exit for you. And the Quran in Arabic is beautiful. It's the best way to reverence God, because in the big Bible there's not that much reverencing of God going on, and instead it is some historical plays and stories. There's very little reverencing of God in the Bible to tell us about God. I know, although they were aware of how was God, and how is God, and what is and God's attributes and all these things. They were aware of these things. But in the Quran we have beautiful language which explains to us how to ponder and how to remember God. So those who disbelieve, they commit idol worship. They think prevention is better than the cure because they're afraid of the dog's bark, but don't realise the dog's bark is just an illusion of fear, and all you need to do is wait, and if he bites, then he has a problem to think about what will his fate be, and if he doesn't bite, it is because of his strength of faith. And God guides all creatures. God controls all creatures, all living creatures. There's graciousness and mercy, which are God's attributes. And just as such as dog's bark is an illusion of fear, so is a jinn who attacks infants and children at schools or with their parents to disbelieve in God by crying out mummy or such things like that. When they get feared, they get scared. If they wait, then they'll find, then they won't despair of the Lord's mercy. And so that's the difference of lions and hyenas, or lions and dogs, cats and dogs. Cats are very much embodied in the Quranic verse. God promises them forgiveness from Him and grace, whereas a dog, it's like what Satan promises. Satan promises them poverty and commands them to commit evil. Now, what is to commit evil? To commit evil is is the gross injustice of idolatry, is to worship other than God. And poverty is a fear that your death or your injury will lead to a poor situation. That's why there's two sides: to serve money or serve God. Those who serve God will neither fear nor shall they grieve, whereas those who serve money are usurious, not charitable, cruel, not kind, corrupt, not innocent. MashaAllah. So Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Everything is in accordance with God's will. God controls all matters. They forget God. They don't remember God. When God alone is mentioned, the hearts of those who do not believe in the hereafter shrink with aversion. But when others are mentioned besides Him, they become glad or something. They become joyous. You see, when you go into a classroom or a student's room and you start talking about music or pop idols or what was on television, you see the white man and the white people start gladly having a conversation with you. But as soon as you mention God, and they'll all say, let's say, oh, leave the classroom, let's arrest the situation. And they'll continue to pressurise you to forget God in their situations, in their lives, which leads to either the highway or my way. There's a straight path, and what they try to do is emulate and imitate all the qualities of the kingdom of God for a capitalist situation, for a capitalist workers one world empire, where they only show kindness and meekness when they're in business. Otherwise they have cruel characters, and they are very inhospitable and very crude and things like that. So they have the all-seeing eye, which they use to spy on people, spy on messengers of God, Messiah, son of David. But anyone who practices witchcraft, God has forbidden a paradise for him, and that's a simple fact. And anyone who God does not guide the wicked, such things like that. So you're either righteous or wicked, and that's the thing. And I don't understand why Rashid Khalifa talked about why children, when is the age of deciding if you are old enough to be accountable for your beliefs. When a child is tested at the age of 2 or 1 or 3 or 4 by devils, and they go on and if they disbelieve in God, they become wicked and serve money. Or if the parents were disbelievers, then they'll give birth to disbelievers and polytheists. Simple as that. And the whole satanic side of life is embodied by 6 or 7 signs: greed, hatred, malice, lust, pride, envy. And they use vanity to know yourself is to know your enemy. They seek praise in the world when all praise is due to God.